Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope y'all are doing well. Let me get in my chat here and remove this daggone pinned message. I hate going into chats and they got a pinned message up. It's so annoying. You can dismiss it though. See who's in here. Sunny Side Up, Miss Debbie, Lisa, Sapphire, good morning. Hugs from Michigan, listening while driving. Have a blessed day. Be safe driving, hun. Don't text and drive, please. I always say that. Y'all would not want to have me as a passenger in your car because I am a backseat driver. For real. It gets on Mark's nerves. Hey Remy, good morning. So I got a couple things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a former Manson follower, Leslie Van Houten. She was denied parole again. She's been in prison since she was 19 years old. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to listen to the interview of Ronnie Watts. I'm just going to hold my phone up to the mic and play the interview. We're going to have to pause. We're going to have to give commentary, or that lady will strike my channel, and I do not want that. Hopefully she won't. Hopefully she won't. So we're going to do all that. Let's see. Never lose hope. How are you? Girl, you should totally put you up a Christmas tree. I think you should do it. Just put it up. Get you one, like a tabletop one. Put it up away from your dogs if they're going to mess with it. Okay, hold on. Let me mute one sec. I hear a dog scratching at my door. Hey, Alex. Good morning. I've been wondering about that interview. Well, we're going to play it, Remy. Hey, Jason. How are you? Yeah, we're going to play it. Hopefully she don't strike my channel. There is a thing called fair use. So, hey, YouTube monitor. How are you? This new interview is wild. I could not believe my ears. Hey, Kimberly. Good morning. I know. You know me. I got a big heart. I did feel for Ronnie. Don't mean I agree with their behavior after the murders, but man, that I just can't imagine my son killing his entire family. But anyways, we'll get into that in a minute. I want to tell y'all about Leslie Van Houten, former Manson follower. Now, Manson died. What year did Manson die? Is it 2017 or 2018? Man, he was like a real nut. Okay, let me just share this. So the governor in California has blocked her parole. She's not going to get out. I think her attorneys tried in September to get her out because of the coronavirus, and that didn't work. I don't think she's ever going to get out. Let's just read this real quick. Charles Manson follower Leslie Van Houten has again been blocked from parole, with California Governor Gavin Newsom saying in his decision that evidence shows that she currently poses an unreasonable danger to society if released from prison. Leslie Van Houten is serving a life sentence for her part in the murders of Los Angeles grocer, I can't talk, grocer, Lino LeBlanca. I think I said that right. And his wife Rosemary in August of 1969, the day after other followers of Manson's slaughtered pregnant actress Sharon Tate and 4 others. Now, Leslie did not take part in the Sharon Tate murder. and the murder of her friends. She was not there that night. She learned about the murders the next morning. And of course, that night she went to LA and went to I cannot say that name, La Bianca's house. And they brutally murdered this couple. I think they even engraved on their chest, like with a knife, like the word pig. Personally, I don't think that she poses a threat to society now. I really don't. But I can see why they're not letting her out. For real. Okay, what else is I? A parole board recommended parole in July, but Newsom, for the second time as governor, reversed the recommendation. Former Governor Jerry Brown has also twice blocked Leslie's release. Leslie has been behind bars for nearly 50 years after the La Blanca slayings, in which she and other members of the Manson family smeared the blood of their victims on the wall of their home. Leslie was 19 at the time, the youngest member of the Manson cult. Her attorney, Rich Pfeiffer, said that he intends to appeal Newsom's decision. This reversal will demonstrate to the courts that there is no way Newsom will let her out, Pfeiffer said. So they have to enforce the law, or it will never be enforced. He attempted to get her released earlier this year over the coronavirus, but that was denied. Oh, and it says Charles Manson died in 2017 while serving a life sentence. He died of natural causes in prison. Now, they got the death penalty. And then their sentences was commuted to life. Have y'all watched the latest Manson movie? What is the name of that crap? I got such a bad memory. But it's pretty good. Hilary Duff plays in it. She plays Sharon Tate. At least, sorry, I was talking to you. Comments and questions at the end. Remy, 50 years, I'd be like the man in the movie The Shawshank Redemption. He gets out and doesn't understand society, ends up committing suicide. Oh, yeah. I love that movie. I have watched it like a million times. Now, we can take a look. Let's see. Let me find some of the images from that crime scene. Let's see. Here's a good one. Okay, let me go screen share. I mean, every one of them's freaking psycho that was involved in the murders. The murders of Sharon Tate and her friends and the LaBanca family. I cannot say their name right, so I apologize. See, they carved in, I think this was Mr. LaBanca's body, the word war. Let's see what else. Oh, yeah, there was a fork stuck into one of them. They stuck a fork into them. Title map. Here's a picture of the couple. There's a better picture. Manson. I've listened to a lot. Oh my God, is there a dog there? Looks like it. I've listened to a lot of Manson's interviews, and he talks a lot of rubbish. Sometimes, some interviews I've listened to, I've had to go back and listen several times just to understand what he is saying. He talks so fast and so damn manic-like. There's a channel on YouTube dedicated to Charles Manson. They play a lot of his music. It's called Spawn Ranch. Yes. It seems like, I can't find the picture, but they carved pig into the husband, I believe. La Bianca couple. Yeah, I have trouble pronouncing their name. I think it's La Bianca. Hey, Blue West, good morning. Just starting out with my coffee in my hand. Oh my gosh, girl, I have been up forever. I had to get up and let my daggone dogs out. Okay. What else? Oh, I guess we'll just listen now if y'all want to comment on this. How do y'all feel about it? Do y'all think that she should be let out? Do you think she's a danger to society now? Jason, he's just interesting to listen to, isn't he? We need to do another Manson stream, but I need somebody to help me with it. It's so much better when I got somebody up here with me, because they'll comment and then that'll jog my memory about something. I would love to read the book, Helter Skelter. How you doing, Charlie Girl says. Hey, Red Rhyme. How are you? So, Red Rhyme, we're getting ready to listen to I can't even talk, Ronnie Watts' interview. And let me get the name of this channel because I'm not going to remember it. So, I'm not going to be in live chat for a minute. I'm only going to see the top chat. So, if I miss you saying anything, I'm not ignoring you. Let me go over here and get into my history and get this video pulled up. We want to start off with part 1. I wish this video wasn't monetized because there are some ads that pop up, but that's okay. So this is an interview. Let me just pause this video. With the channel called Chris Watts Revelation in Reckoning. Is what it's called. And this lady, I'm not sure what her name is. I think people call her Kim. But she's tight with the Watts family. She has been for the last couple of years. And hold on, I just saw Red Rum's comment. Oh Lord, I think Hubs and I are going to talk about that today if it all works out on your channel. This shit is crazy. Yeah. Well, I hope she don't strike me. But she shouldn't. She shouldn't. There is a fair use thing. But she is good at interviewing people. I'm going to give her that. And she's got like a radio voice. And like mine, it's all country and hick-fight. Okay. So let's get started. We will have to pause so she can't strike me. She strikes me, I'm going to be mad. She shouldn't.
Super excited for you all. I just wanted to make sure you guys had the opportunity to hear some of these things from him.
We're going to speed it up.
He's gone through. Are so similar in so many ways. I just thought that this would be a good opportunity for you guys to just hear from Ronnie himself.
First of all, I just want to let everybody know that we support your channel 100% and believe in what you're doing.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Let me put it back to normal speed.
When Chris was in North Carolina, how many times did you see him when he was out there that summer, 2018?
The 6 weeks he was down here, he came down for the last week, and that's when they went to the beach and stuff. Of course, we went down to the beach at the same time, so we were 5 miles apart, and never got to see him, but she wouldn't allow it. And we got to see him one day, the day before they left to go back, more or less. It was, they stopped down to see my mother when she was in a rehab center. She was 93 years old. And she wouldn't bring him by here. I had to go pick him up there. I did. And he spent the afternoon here at the house. And me and Cindy and Jamie and Robert and the kids and Jamie, other grandbabies. And we cooked out and just sat around and talked and stuff and hung out on the porch. And that's when he told me that she only knew that they wanted to get a divorce, and he was looking for an apartment, for a little 2-bedroom apartment with bunk beds for him and the girls, because that's how his life is going to be from now on. He only more or less set a schedule up from a.
So when he went to visit his parents, he had told them his plan to leave Shanann. I mean, like, he had fixed his schedule up. We got to give a little commentary, guys.
So out from that, so I work the schedule, and you'd have them, 1 week, she'd have them the next week, type thing.
So you guys did know he was getting separated or getting a divorce?
Well, that's the first we'd heard of it. That she already knew about it, and actually the house is already for sale on the market.
See, that's a big. I think people don't know that. People don't know that you guys knew that was even in the works.
Yeah, that was the first. That's the first we had heard of it. Was that one day he got to spend with us? That week he was down here.
And how was
one afternoon actually?
How was he that day when he was with you guys?
He was pretty much upbeat and stuff. I mean, he knew what he wanted to do, and like I said, he told me he wanted a little 2-bedroom apartment with bunk beds for the girls. I mean, he was ready to move on with his life.
Yeah. Now, Chris wrote a letter when he was at your guys' house. Why did he write that letter? How did that come about?
Well, Shanann had been acting. 2 times she'd come down. 2 times she'd visit with us. Her and Cindy got into it a couple times, basically over minor things. One which everybody heard about was the nut gate, where she more or less said Cindy was trying to hurt Cece and give her ice cream and stuff, which she never gave her the ice cream, and it was a plain vanilla ice cream cup, which didn't have nothing in it, and it all blew up on that when she accused Cindy of trying to hurt Cece by giving her something with nuts in it, which we all knew she couldn't have nuts.
Right.
I just want to pause for a second. I don't think Cindy would have ever intentionally hurt her grandchildren. I'm not a Cindy Watts fan, but I don't think that, she would have intentionally tried to have hurt Cece.
That was the
At least I don't think.
She'd come down twice, 2 weekends in a row. And the time before that, when my neighbor had passed away, and Cindy went to get her hair fixed and stuff, and she come by my work and signed some paperwork on the card that we was getting, and she was gone, probably 3 or 4 hours or whatever. And she called my phone at work, blowing it up, because Cindy left her phone at the hairdresser and had to try and go back and get it, which made her later. And Cindy offered beforehand, said, "I'm going to go ahead and take you back to 7 pounds an hour." I said, "No, I'll just wait till you get on with everything." And she fussed Sunday saying, "You left me alone with these kids for 5 hours." I said, "They're your kids too. I mean, you're not down here for us to watch them 24/7.
Right. When you first heard,
let me pause for a second. He just said, we're not going to watch them 24 hours. We weren't supposed to watch them 24/7. I don't know. If I'd been him, I sure wouldn't have said that. I mean, your grandkids are visiting. They live out of state. You don't get to see them that much. In my opinion, you should want to keep them as much as possible.
that like Shanann and the girls were missing. What did you think?
I thought she'd just run off with the kids just to punish Chris for something. I thought she would just run off with the kids somewhere and just punishing Chris for something. That's just the way she is.
Right. When you picked up Chris from the airport, what did you guys talk about? And did he say anything particular that stood out to you?
Not just one thing that really I didn't catch what.
Oh crap! There's an ad. Let me skip the ad.
Saying I meant the police department, Frederick Police Department kept calling. One of the detectives there kept calling them. They kept dropping the call. And every time we start talking, he'd call back again. And then Chris would talk to him a few minutes. They'd drop the call on bad reception or whatever. And he just said one thing, which it didn't make any sense to me at the time. He said, "So I should have just went to the Rockies game that night."
So the night of the murders, he was supposed to have went to a baseball game, right? Is that what he's talking about? What is this woman's stance on Chris Watts? I've not watched all of her videos, but she's close with the Watts family, Sandy. Hey, by the way, good morning to everyone. I didn't say good morning to, by the way.
which it didn't click at the time. But,
Right.
now I know.
Right. So when he was talking to the police station, obviously some of that stuff has been released, but is there anything that, I mean, there's parts of it that were like fast forwarded through or redacted. Is there anything that you know that he said to you that wasn't released?
Yeah, because when we was talking, when he told me what happened, and told me where the girls were at, and he said, "Dad, I could not put them with her after what she did to them." And right after that, he said she was evil.
So they obviously didn't, like, they redacted that and didn't release that to the public. So
Wait. He's saying that Chris told him, Dad, I couldn't put the girls with her after what she had done to him. And they redacted that part out. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that or not.
That's something I stayed in my mind when he said, when I found out where the girls were at, he said, "Dad, I cannot put them with her after what she did to them."
Yeah.
Bull crap.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a very hard thing to get out of your head for sure. So
Yeah.
everyone talks about Chris's lack of emotions. Like, explain to people like how emotional you are, how many times has Cindy seen you cry? Is that kind of just talk about, emotions in your family or how you and Chris are, I guess?
I'm very seldom ever crying. The last 2 times I ever remember crying was at the memorial service we had for Bella and CC at the gravesite. I did cry there. And a few weeks later was at church when I got baptized, and we was all hugging and worshiping with the preacher and everything and talking. I was crying then. I think
Crap. Stinking ad. Sorry, guys. I do need ad-free YouTube, Jason.
she seen me crying probably last 20 years, probably.
Wow. And so Chris is, he looks like he's the same way. He seems like he's the same way.
Yeah, thanks. I hold a lot of things in on what she does too, and you can take it for what it is. That's why I was brought up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's nothing to be sorry about. Everyone handles everything differently. So when you left, when you talked to Chris in the police station, so you actually had asked for an attorney at some point, and then when all of that was over, they walked you out. Did they let you come back to the police station the next day and see him again? Like, what happened after they walked you out that night?
After everything was over, they ended up taking me to a hotel, and because I couldn't stay at the house or anything, so I went to a hotel and I called back and stuff the next morning trying to find out where he was at, where I could see him and stuff. He said, "No, you can't see him." And actually never did tell me where he was at. They said that he's not allowed any visitors or anything this time. So I never got to see him again. I tried 2 or 3 times that day to get up with him. And that's when I was leaving, going back to the airport. That's when the defense lawyers called me. And I turned around and come back and talked to them that afternoon.
Did you get to see Chris when you were talking to them or no?
No. The only time we got to see him from the time of his arrest was the night before the plea deal. We got to see him. Each of us talked to him for 30 minutes on closed circuit TV.
Okay, so that's the first part. Ronnie Watts, actually, I hate to even say this, his voice sounds like my dad's.
So,
okay, let me go back to the beginning here.
Did you receive any of the girls' belongings?
Nothing from the girls.
Okay, so she just asked if he received any of Chris's belongings or the girls.
Actually, Frank brought back some of Chris's jerseys and stuff and brought back. We met here in Fayetteville and he gave them to me and stuff. And I called, they sent me his wallet. I called the DA trying to get his phone and he refused to return it to me. And I said, the reason behind that, and he said, well, he had heard through People magazine or whatever that Christopher might be appealing this case, so he would not give me his phone.
Well, that's weird because, I mean, that would only be something that's a recent conversation, so they've had 2 years to return it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Interesting.
And,
evidence, isn't it?
The night before the sentencing, we actually got to see the assistant DA. We didn't get to see the assistant DA, so we went over to see him that night with the so-called victims advocate person. and talked to him. And we went in there and sat down with him, and we was talking. And I asked him, what evidence do you have? And he said, well, we have a theory. I said, well, what evidence do you have? And he kept saying, we got a theory. He would never tell me what evidence. He never showed us any evidence.
Evidence. The girls' bodies were put in oil tanks. Damn, all the evidence you need. He's the one that had access to those.
He never said he had any evidence. He said, we have a theory.
Shanann was strangled.
What did you think of that when he said that to you?
Well, it's the same song and dance he did on this interview after sentencing. He never would say what he showed us because he didn't show us anything at all.
Yeah, that is crazy. So Jean Powers, you mentioned her, the victim's advocate. Well, first of all, you guys weren't recognized as victims from the very beginning, were you?
No, not till right before the sentencing.
Okay. I think one of the reasons that they weren't recognized as victims by the public is because of that interview Cindy Watts did. Remember, she's wearing that maroon sweatshirt. I can't remember who she done the interview with. But, she says some not so nice things about Shanann. And, it's basically victim bashing. That's the way the public seen it.
We was at the hotel with her right before we went over. Me and Cindy both wrote out what we was going to say. We asked her what she was going to say. She said she was going to wing it. And we had no idea what she was going to say when she got up there. And we was just shocked as everybody else was what she said, because we did not agree with anything she said.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Calling Cindy and you guys right after saying, what's going on? And Cindy had no idea what I was talking about because she didn't even hear. She said you guys were so nervous. Yeah. What were you feeling when you were in the courtroom that day? What was going through your mind? How was that seeing Chris there? Like, what was that whole experience like for you?
Well, that was only the second time we've seen him, and from the time it happened till the sentencing, and it was hard, very hard for us. But we still love our son no matter what, and it's very hard to go through.
Like, I get that, and I do sympathize with Ronnie and Cindy on that. I can't imagine my child murdering his entire family. Of course, they don't want to believe that he is really capable of doing something like that. That's their son. I get that.
My grandchildren and everything, and it's been real hard on us last 2 years.
But Cindy's mouth got him in trouble. We
was there for him because the whole world is against him right now, so I guess we're the only ones he's got left.
Yeah, obviously you guys have a very tight relationship with Chris.
Dashing through the snow.
Oh, crap. Lady. Damn ads are annoying.
Yeah.
You guys talk to him every night, right?
Yeah, when he gets a call, sometimes they've been on lockdown because of the COVID and stuff. Sometimes he gets a call, sometimes he don't. So we talk to him.
Well, he got his calling privileges took for a while because he gave some commissary to that Dylan Tallman, another inmate.
Whenever he can get out to call us.
Now, did you guys ever they mentioned in the court through this process that you guys were able to speak to Chris about the plea deal? You guys agreed to it. Is that true?
No, that was totally false. When we got to talk to him the night before the plea deal, we were told not to discuss the case, and if we did, they'd shut it down. We could have all the small talk we wanted to, but not to mention the case. And one time, Cindy did ask him, Chris, if you did not do this, please do not plead guilty or accept the plea deal. And he turned and looked at his attorneys. We had some attorneys behind us, and he had attorneys with him. He turned around and looked at them, turned back, looked at Cindy, and said, Mom, I made my decision. He didn't say I did it. He said, Mom, I made my decision.
But why would he take a plead guilty to something he really didn't do? I mean, come on now. They can't be that naive.
So they kept telling him it didn't matter if it's 1 or 3. He's still going to get life in prison. And all they're trying to do right now was save his life.
Now, the defense came out to your guys' house one time, right? What was that experience like? What did they tell you then?
Basically the same thing. They come out right after we had a hurricane and stuff down here. And they sat down with us and told us more or less they're just trying to save his life. Said it didn't matter 1 or 3. He's still going to get life in prison.
Now, are you guys ever worried about, they said that the plea deal was done based on taking the death penalty off the table. Were you guys ever concerned about the death penalty?
Not in Colorado.
Yeah.
It ain't happening probably 30, 40 years, if then. I'm not sure the last time they put somebody to death.
That don't mean it won't happen, though. They still got the death penalty there.
Right. Now, some things after. There's been a lot of questions about the DNA of the baby. Have you guys ever requested that, and have you guys received the DNA evidence?
These lips lift me
Crap.
up.
Stinking ads.
Never received it. That one time I didn't talk to Mr. Work. I asked him about it, about the who the father of the baby was. He said Chris, and that's all he said about the other person that was questionable about that. His name is also Chris, so you can take it for that.
Bull crap. I do not believe that Shanann messed around on her husband. I do not believe that. She was totally in love with him. I mean, you could tell by her text messages to her friends, she was so upset that, that Chris had done this complete turnaround. He went from being lovey-dovey to her to not even wanting to touch her, Oh, thank you, Jason. Them stinking ads.
That's what it's worth.
Right. So you guys never have received that.
No, never received nothing.
Did your family, in the course of this investigation, did your family ever get interviewed? DA Rourke got up in a press conference and said that he talked to both.
No, the only time I ever talked to that man was on the phone when I was in North Carolina and he was in Colorado. Never met the man before. The only time I ever seen him was in the courtroom, and the only one I ever talked from the DA's office was Assistant DA the night before the sentencing.
So that was dishonest of them when they said they interviewed you guys through the process too.
Nope. Never talked to him. Yeah.
What do you think about them going up to Wisconsin? Why do you think they went up there to go talk to Chris?
Let me pause for a minute because there's an awkward silence. How far along was she? Wasn't she like? How far along was Shanann? She was a few months. 15 weeks? Yeah. She wasn't that far along.
Well, that's very hard to say. So I don't know if it's something they needed or they was doing that for the other part of the family or what the reason behind that was.
You didn't know that they were going up there, did you?
No, we had no clue they was going up there. We didn't know until after the fact, a few days after the fact, and Chris told us that they come up there. However, I'm not sure what the time period was, but we never knew about it until way after they went up there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they lied to them, which I guess they can do that, and said it's just between them. Of course, they recorded it and released every bit of it, which Chris said thought he had to tell.
I actually have the second confession in my Google Drive somewhere. They never told him that was just a private conversation. Unless they told him before they pushed record. Just listen to what else they say.
Told them something, so I guess he just made up something so they'd leave him alone.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris is not confrontational. He's not going to tell him just to get out of there.
He's the same way I am. It takes a whole lot to make me mad.
Okay. So basically, they're just they're saying that Chris just told them what they wanted to hear because he doesn't like confrontation.
I don't like confrontation at all. Ain't never been that way.
I don't. Okay, let me pause just for a second. I do not like confrontation either, but I'm not going to sit and lie to you just to shut you up. I'm not going to do that.
So, as far as, because everyone knows there's been multiple things that Chris has said. What do you believe from Chris? What is the confession or the story that you believe, is the truth?
Well, the hurt and the pain I seen in that boy's face that day, I believe what he told me sitting there. He's just like, as far as emotions, he's just like me. When he told me, he said, Dad, I cannot put them with her after what she did. And turned out after that said she was evil. And I believe it.
I mean, because he was too ashamed of what he did to tell his dad the truth that he had murdered the girl. So he put the blame on Shanann. And they believe it. I saw Carolina girl's comment earlier. Yeah, they're going to, always think that he was pressured into taking that plea deal and the second confession.
What do you think? What do you think about him now wanting to do a 35C? Like, what has the last 2 years been like for you, your family, for Chris, and then obviously him getting to the 35, wanting to do a 35C? What has that been like for you, and how do you feel about the stuff going forward?
It's going to be a long, hard road, but I think if we can find the right person to defend him, or a lawyer or whatever, and actually dive deep into the case and see if they do have any evidence, which actually they told me they had a theory. They never told me they had any evidence at all. If there was any evidence there, it's long gone by now because everybody and their brother's been in that house.
Right. What's been the difference with Chris? How much has he changed from 2 years ago? Because everyone says, well, why did he fight back then? What do you think has changed so that to make him want to do this now? Do you know?
I think he was in shock for so long from everything that happened. The trauma of his post-traumatic stress syndrome or whatever. I think that set in.
Oh, please. So now he has PTSD. Really?
And it's took him a long while. It's still.
You don't know what PTSD is.
Every day.
Yeah.
It's going to be a long road for anybody gets back to normal life. If we ever get back to normal life.
Right.
You're never going to have a normal life again. The Ruseks are never going to have a normal life again. Their daughter, little Nico, Bella, and Celeste were murdered. They're never going to be normal again. There's never going to be another day that goes by that they don't think about that. Oh, gosh.
You guys, I know you guys have a small memorial, your own place that you guys have set up for the kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. I see it every day when I walk out there. It's out there, a little garden with the headstone and everything out there.
So I put the channel up 3 weeks ago. What do you feel about that? All the information being out there?
Well, I think there's a lot out there that a lot of people haven't dove that deep into to try to explain what happened, which you've done. And some of these all so-called other, whatever people you want to call them, they're just all, they don't look at the facts. They just want to talk.
Excuse me, Mr. Watts. We have looked at the facts. Yeah, we do like to talk about, true crime cases and stuff. But personally, I have looked at the facts. And the facts are Chris Watts murdered his family because he got him a new little girlfriend and wanted a new life. That's the facts.
Okay, guys, that concludes this round of questions with Ronnie.
Okay. So that did seem a little bit rehearsed. She probably gave him the questions beforehand. I don't know exactly what this 35C is they're talking about. It's some kind of like appeal or something. I mean, he's never going to get out of prison. Never going to get out of prison. I hope that lady don't strike my channel. I think she did Mommy Ramblings. I'm not sure why, but I hope she don't me. Now, I'm just wondering, is this Chris Watts' girlfriend? She's put up another video since this interview. The latest video is outing. Do y'all remember that lady that came forward claiming that she had an affair with Chris? She gave like a false statement. She's come forward, or she's made a video what was her name? Amanda? She deleted her Facebook. Anyways, in this video, she's like, it was a false statement. But do we really know if that was a false statement? He could have hooked up with her. He isn't getting out of prison. Exactly. Yeah, I just want to read some of y'all's comments. Let me get back into my live chat. I can't believe that they actually think that baby Nico could have belonged to someone else besides Chris Watts. I will never, ever believe that. Yeah, let me put her channel link up, and you guys can, y'all can follow this channel. If she puts up anything else, we'll talk about it on here. Let me get back to my channel. So here is her channel link. Okay. If y'all want to go back and listen to that interview. Hey, you know, I got a big heart. I feel bad for them. Like, I can't imagine my son doing something like that. I mean, I just can't imagine. So, and you know, they did lose grandchildren. Do I think that Sandy and Ronnie loved their grandchildren? Yes. Do I think they were super close to them? No, because the kids lived in Colorado. They didn't get to see them every day like they get to see their daughter's kids, right? But I do think it hurt them. Of course, broke their hearts when the girls were murdered. Do I think it bothered them about Shanann? Probably not so much, maybe a little. Here's something I'm wondering. He said they got a memorial put up for the girls at their house. I wonder if Shanann is included in that memorial. I bet you not, which I think is really crappy. Even though they had a bad relationship, she was still Bella and Cece's mom. Yes, Chris wanted a clean start with his mistress. Now, I've been hearing rumors that Nicole Kessinger has a kid by Chris Watts. Now, I heard rumors back when, right after the murders, I think like in that February or something, that she was pregnant. But, I mean, you could never prove it. I think it's just rumors. I think it's, oh yeah, let me say this. I think it's pretty crappy that they are putting doubt in people's heads, saying that Shanann could have been pregnant by another guy named Chris. Nowhere have I read anything about Shanann seeing someone else. Crap, they went through her phone, the police, thoroughly, and the FBI, you know. If she had been talking to another man, that would have came out. Do you believe she had his baby? I don't know if I believe it, but, you know, I'm the type of person that thinks like anything is possible. So they're, you know, if they were sleeping together and she wasn't on birth control, yeah, there is a possibility that she could have possibly gotten pregnant by him. But I'd like to see some proof of that. You know what I mean? Anything's possible. But I do not think that it is possible that Shanann killed the girls. No, no, no. No, he did that. And I can't believe, like, he is telling his parents, like, hey, I just told them what they wanted to hear. Something that I could just slap Tammy for, one of the people that interviewed him from the FBI, that Tammy lady that gave him the polygraph, I could slap her for asking him, did Shanann do something to the girls? Because he jumped on that and, you know, went with it. And there was a lot of people that believed him that Shanann killed the girls because, unfortunately, Chris Watts has supporters, diehard supporters. To each their own, but I'm not supporting a murderer. I support the victims. CC, the date and times and counts where the lady said she met Chris Watts was prison bogus. She recanted her account with police along with the gay made-up count trip. Bose said she dated Chris. Okay, thank you, Will. Thank you. So that was proven bogus. She didn't look like his type anyways. Thank you for that, Will. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving, by the way. Yeah, Tammy planted that seed in his head. I don't think she meant to. But I think she learned a valuable lesson. Hey, she works for the FBI, but they're human. They make mistakes. She didn't do it deliberately. Oh my gosh, I could just shake her for it. At least I believe she played on his mind. I don't want to be with you if you're married. I think she did that too. Never lose hope. I've always said that, especially after I seen one of the greeting cards that he gave her that said, "We will have plenty of first together." I knew. I knew she threw that up in his face all the time that he had kids. She wanted someone that didn't have kids. Someone who hadn't been married before. I think she drilled that in his head. Now, there's a lot of people that think that she was involved with the murders or pushed him to do it. I don't think that. Not seen any proof of it. Although, I do think she drilled it in his head about, him being married and having kids. She didn't like it. She drilled, So he could not dig up it. Here's something that I've always thought, though. I've always thought that they had a relationship for a long time. They were in a relationship for a long time because she looked up Shanann a year before the murders on Facebook. So that made me think, hey, they were dating for longer than what we thought. That's what I think. Carolina girl, I disagree. Tammy did it on purpose. She wanted to get him to admit to killing at least one. Reason why doesn't matter. It's a good possibility, Carolina girl. Good possibility. I think Tammy knew it was the only way she could get Chris to confess by saying she was hurting the girls. Right. I think that was a big, big mistake. That's my opinion. I don't know. Maybe she did it on purpose. Maybe she didn't. I don't know. I just think that was a big mistake. But like I say, FBI are humans too. They're going to make mistakes. I kind of felt like she regretted doing that. She asked him something like in that second confession, did you say Shanann killed the girls basically because I said that or asked you that? And then you just, went with it. Something like that. I can't remember the exact wording. And he's like, yeah. When you're in an interrogation room for 6 hours, those interrogators are professional at getting a confession. I don't blame it on Tammy. She was doing her job. Yeah. I think even if she didn't say that, if they would have kept grilling him, especially that guy, he was good. He was good. He would have confessed. He was falling apart. He was nervous as hell. I knew the very first time I saw Chris Watts on television, I was watching Ashley Banfield's show that used to be on. She used to do like nightly true crime news. Anyways, they was playing it. Me and Mark were watching it. We looked at each other. We thought, he did it. He did it. Mark's not even into true crime, and he could see that Chris Watts was acting weird as hell, rocking back and forth, his arms crossed, smirking, and there was just no emotion behind his words. You could tell he wasn't really worried about his family. He just kept saying, I just want him to come back. This house is not a home without him. You could just tell. Chris Watts has more freedom, more commissary, more phone privileges. The insurance money is probably going to keep him up. Give me a break. Well, I just don't see why the Watts were entitled to any of that money. I know they're probably thinking in their head, well, those were Chris's kids. But look, Chris was convicted of murdering them and confessed and convicted to murdering them. They shouldn't have gotten anything. With all that Shanann's family has been through, they should have just let them have it. I think that says a lot about the Ruseks when he brought, Frank Rusek brought Chris Watts jerseys back from Colorado and met Ronnie and gave them to him. Hey, that's a classy man. I mean, Ronnie's son murdered his daughter, and he still brought Chris's jerseys back to Ronnie. His words seemed rehearsed. You could tell he was really nervous, too. Okay, Ronnie's saying that he was pressured into giving that second confession because he doesn't like confrontation. Really? Is that why he came up with that story that he killed the girls twice? He's feeling pressured? Come on now. Because remember in that second confession, correct me if I'm wrong, he said that he strangled the girls at home. They went and killed Shanann. And then Bella got up and he realized they didn't die. It was something like that. I wish Chris would give an interview and give every penny to the receipts. Oh, here's a good question. That channel that we just listened to is monetized. I'm wondering if all that money is going to Chris Watts for commissary. Hey, it's her money. It's her channel. If that's what she wants to do, if that's what floats it for. But I'm just curious because, I'm nosy. It baffles me too. I tried to figure out how did someone like Chris go from being like this so-called good family man, very passive person, to murdering his entire family. I've tried to figure it out. I'll never figure it out. He's like John List. He was like a church-going man. He killed his entire family. What was it, like in the 70s? I forget the exact time. That's how I found the true crime community. They took Ashley Banfield off of TV, canceled that show. The Watts murders had just happened. And, I was already on YouTube in the pet community, and I was like, oh my God, let me see if there's anyone covering this case. And I found Molly Golightly in Will's channel. Oh, guys. Hold on just one second. I think my son just pulled up. We're going to have to cut this live stream short. My dogs are going to start barking in a minute. Nika, I don't believe a word he says. Each time they question him, his story changed. Yeah. He did it, guys. Shanann didn't kill the girls. Shanann was not pregnant by anyone else. She was totally in love with Chris. She stayed so busy she didn't have time to have an affair. Her and Chris actually planned to get pregnant with baby Nico. That was planned. I will agree that Chris was the type of person just to go along with anything. Like with, getting pregnant again and all that. I think Shanann wanted to do that. He didn't want to do it. But he's a person that he didn't know how to voice how he felt. And he just went along with it. That's how I feel about it. But anyways, guys, let me get off here and run out here and help my son carry in his stuff. He's a little bit early, but that's okay. Sorry to cut this short. I didn't know he was going to be here that quick, but that's okay. Anyways, y'all have a great day. And I will see y'all in the morning, same time, same place. I'm just reading comments. Post-conviction relief is actually just a court hearing to receive if he was denied constitutional rights. I don't think it's going to fly. No. Chris Watts is always going to be in prison. He's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. Anyways, love y'all. Be kind. Peace.